Hello, and welcome back to Interviewing Aliens. Today, we're shining a spotlight on a crucial aspect of our lives that intertwine seamlessly with spirituality, mental health, and well being. We're thrilled to introduce two familiar faces to our community, Colleen Myers and Lindy Ehemann, who are part of the innovative ARI team. ARI is described as a wellness retreat in your pocket. It's a pioneering platform that offers access to some of the world's top mental health and wellness experts. With ARI, users can receive curated guidance, tools, and resources tailored to fuel their personal growth and all at their fingertips. Mental wellness is not just addressing challenges or seeking therapy, it's an integral part of our spiritual journey. Our mental state influences our spiritual experiences, perceptions, and growth. By nurturing our minds, we pave the pathway for a deeper, more profound spiritual connection. It's the intersection of mental well being and spirituality that ARI seeks to address, making it a valuable resource for our community and beyond. But ARI is more than just a platform, it's a community in and itself. It brings together inspiration, guidance, and tools all in one place, ensuring wellness is accessible and achievable for everyone. Whether you're a facilitator looking to expand your practice or someone embarking on their wellness journey, ARI has something for you. As we dive into our conversation with Colleen and Lindy, we'll explore the concept of ARI, its inception, and the potential to reshape the wellness and spiritual landscape. Colleen and Lindy, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having us. So
you.
excited to be here.
Really excited to hear more about Ari. Just browsing the site, it looks really interesting. I know you guys are. Have you already launched? Have you soft launched? What's the status there?
So we have launched our MVP, which stands for minimum viable product, for which was a new term for me in the tech world. um, but basically, like a very kind of rudimentary prototype of what we will eventually be building out on. So it's kind of invite only right now. We're just kind of looking for bugs, looking for the places to best grow. But in the next few months, we should have more of a kind of like usable on a larger scale platform coming out for everyone.
Great. And what can people expect from that? What is Ari? Tell us all about it. We want to hear.
Yeah, so basically from my own journey, I guess, my mental health spiritual journey, that I've been on for most of my life at this point. What I have personally found, and I hear this time and time again, and I'm sure you guys all very much feel this, that it's like there isn't just one thing that helps you, and the things that are most helpful today probably aren't going to be the things that are most helpful 6 months from now, right? And the stuff like the modalities and the conversations that you were having and the things you were interested in 5 years ago that were helpful, again, they've all shifted. And right now, it seems like the wellness, world is very fragmented. It's kind of like you have to go to a website that focuses on yoga to kind of get into your yoga stuff. And then you've got like spiritual communities talking about very niche things, all just in their own pockets of the internet. And then everybody kind of comes to meet on Instagram, but there's nothing really deep happening in that space. So what we are basically trying to do with Ari is create one virtual ecosystem where people who are doing wellness work of any kind, so we are modality agnostic, everything from energy work, spiritual guides, to traditional therapists and counselors, and everybody in between. So we want to make it easier for them to build and scale their online business. So instead of being spread out between 10 different tabs to kind of run some kind of virtual practice, everything from video calls to scheduling to payments processing to group community is all within Ari. And then how that looks as a user is that you no longer have to go to a bunch of different places trying to find what you're looking for every day you wake up. And if you follow or subscribe to, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different people, when you wake up, you have an actionable piece of work from each of those different facilitators. So you might have a 5-minute breath work session, a little yoga video that can start your day, and like a meditation and a journal prompt. And you don't have to go between all of these different spaces anymore. Realize that's a lot of information to throw at you, but that's that's
It's
what we're building.
amazing.
Wow, yeah, that's really cool. Like you describe it as a like wellness center in your pocket or a wellness retreat in your pocket, and that is exactly what you're describing there. It's like, all right, how am I going to plan my day? I guess I'm going to pick, go to this class, this class, and this class.
Exactly. Well, and one of the things, on my journey and my co-founder Paul, what we've experienced in spaces like retreats, where it's like you might go for a week for this intensive kind of healing thing. Part of the magic of that, part of what makes that so helpful is that you don't really have to think about anything, right? It's like you wake up and they say like breakfast is at this time, and then we've got this group meditation at this time, be at the pagoda at this time for yoga or whatever it is. And you can just show up and do it. You don't have to think about what am I doing. And we want to make it easier that every morning, it's you're like, here's my daily schedule.
Wow, I love that. So like keeping the theme of like the wellness retreat thing, I believe you came to our most recent camp. Is that correct, or at least the one the year before?
The one the year before, yeah, that's where I met all of y'all.
Okay. How did you find out about Alien School field trip?
That is so that's one of those like serendipity, I'm not even really sure how it happened, but it was meant to happen kind of things.
Hmm.
Um the In January of 2022, I took a virtual creativity course with Words Are Vibrations, James McCrae, if you're familiar with that Instagram account. He was running
Hmm.
this 6-week creativity workshop basically. And in that space, I ended up meeting this girl who's now one of my best friends. And we just connected online and started talking every day. And we're both on similar creativity kind of journeys. Um, and 6 months later, in July 2022, she messaged me and she had found out about Alien School. I'm not sure how, but she lives in Texas. I was back in Chicago at the time, and she was like, "This is like about halfway between us." All that we knew about it was that it was called Alien School Field Trip, and we were like, "That sounds like a place we want to be." We knew nothing else about it. She decided that this was like a good halfway point between Texas and Chicago. She had to drive much farther than I did, but still. And we showed up, and then everyone that we're meeting is all like, "Oh, like how long have you been listening to Jesse Reed?" Like talking about this person that I had heard of once before in my life. She had been on one of James McCrae's podcasts, and so I was like,
Hmm.
"Okay, I know she exists." But all of a sudden, we were like, "Oh, like we missed a very large portion of the memo." But we met all of these incredible people, and now here we are.
Right on. And is that when you first linked up with Colleen?
Yeah, we were just happened to be at the same area at the same time, and we like just we were tie dyeing, and we just started chatting, and yeah, we just like hit it off immediately, and it was very much right away. Like I don't know what's going to happen with this like person that I just met, but I mean from my point of view I was like I feel like I'm just going to know this girl forever. And we just like, exchanged like, oh, this is me, and then just kind of kept in touch for a while. And then when I saw what she was doing with Ari, I was like, wow, this sounds like amazing. I don't know if like you need
Hmm.
help or whatever, but I just feel like I should be reaching out to you for, do you want me to help you? Do you need help? And Lindy was like, let me talk. Let's talk. So we had a bunch of like conversations and stuff. And then when the time came, she was like, yeah, we need help. Like, and I think you're the right person to help me. I'm like,
Right on.
heck yeah.
When you meet soul family and you like realize that connection right away, that's such a powerful moment. I love that.
Yeah.
So Colleen, how did you come into the whole Jessa Reed sphere of influence here?
Well, I saw her comedy first and was like, oh, this girl is so funny. Like I think I saw her on like This Is Not Happening. And I just thought I loved what she was talking about. I thought all of her stories of like crazy stuff that happened to her while she was using drugs was like so funny and open and honest. And then the more I looked into her, I was like, oh, she's like into like woo stuff. Like this is like really cool. Like, and it's the same kind of feeling. You just like immediately clicked. And I showed my husband, I'm like, you got to listen to this lady. She's so funny. And we just started following, the Instagram and whatever. I think I got on her Patreon. And then we heard about the meetup that was happening. And I said to him, I'm like, there's a meetup and like they're asking for people who are
Hmm.
like facilitators that want to present stuff. And I'm like, you should just do it because he's building his practice. He's like a medium and a shaman. And he does like energy work, house clearings, lots of different things. And that's really like his passion. And I was like, why don't we just go and see what this is all about? And like, you could like do a class because he had been teaching classes for about, I don't know, maybe like 2 years at that point, but just like locally. And we were just like on a whim, just kind of like, all right, yeah, if it's meant to be, it'll be.
Hmm.
And so we got ourselves there, and the rest is history. It was
And
awesome.
for our listeners or those who don't know, Colleen is married to our last podcast guest, Pete Martocci, the blue collar spiritualist.
Yep,
Hmm.
that's him.
Right on. So
Yeah.
let's bring it back to Ari for a bit here. Um, what's the like inception of it here? Who are the main people behind this? What do we need to know if we're thinking about wanting to sign up here?
It all started in the jungles of Costa Rica, which is a great origin. Um, I know,
I
right?
can
Like,
see it now.
out
The dense,
so many.
trees, the
Oh,
fog, a man with a machete.
so 2.5 years ago, I was in Costa Rica and I went to an ayahuasca retreat, which is where I met my co-founder Paul, who was living at this ayahuasca center at the time. He's literally saved in my phone as Jungle Paul because, like, in my mind, he was like the man with the like he lived in the jungle and he just like that was him. But he was only there, for a few months. It wasn't his entire existence. But when you have just that snapshot of someone, I was like, oh yeah, that's who he is.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so we met there, sat a night of ceremony together. He's also from Chicago originally, so we had a little bit of a connection over that. But then when I left the next day, I actually, like, we didn't exchange numbers. We just left it as like a soul fam, in a moment, in a time and place kind of thing. It was just like,
Hmm.
never thought I'd see him again. And fast forward like 4 or 5 days later, I'm with a friend sitting by a pool at a hotel, like a million miles away from the place that we had sat the ceremony, less than a week before. And I look up and Paul literally just walks into the hotel. And in my mind, I'm like, you're supposed to be in the jungle? Like, what are you doing here? We're so far
That's
away from like
wild.
where we actually met. And he basically was like, yeah, like I needed a break. I needed to do laundry and have a real shower. And he came to this one, like, of all of the places in Costa Rica, walked into the same one that we were at.
Wow.
And so then we ended up traveling together for like a week and becoming incredibly close. And just very similar to a me and Colleen thing where I was just like, I know this person is in my life forever and I know we're going to work together someday. And I don't know what that is, but it's going to happen. And then fast forward a year ago, he and I were both in Chicago at the same time and we went for a walk. Um, and he told me about this idea that he had for it wasn't called Ari at the time. There were a few names that we threw around, but like, yeah. And I just, as soon as he started talking about it, I was like, this is it. Like the world needs this. And we met up the next night and talked a little bit more about, are we serious? What would this look like? And we sat with it, for a few months and kind of would like call each other with like big ideas, and then took some time to kind of to just make sure that it was really what we wanted to do. Um, and it was just after Christmas that we had a big call that was like, okay, like I'm in, are you in? And we started, I think our kickoff meeting was January 3rd of this year. So just after the new year. And so the co-founders are me, Paul, and then Austin is a friend of Paul's who is now a good dear friend of mine, that Paul has met on his journey as well. And so we're kind of the three are OGs. And then we've got people that have been coming in and helping us. And it's, the right people have just kind of been presenting themselves like Colleen along the path, being like, this is something that I want to see exist. And yeah.
Very cool. So you mentioned that soon here people will be able to sign up for kind of a limited beta, right?
Yes. Hopefully in the next month or two.
Okay. Well, what kind of practitioners should consider signing up here?
So like I mentioned before, we are completely modality agnostic. So we're not here to gatekeep what helps anyone or what is really classified as, a healing modality. At some point, yes, I'm sure we'll have to figure out what parameters are on that. But anybody from, social workers and life coaches and psychiatrists to yoga instructors to breathwork facilitators to reiki practitioners to astrologers, like mediums. Pete has been helping us with our MVP. And basically I'm like, if you're doing wellness work and you have something to offer, we're interested in helping you offer that to the world.
Okay. So let's say that I was a practitioner and, let's say I do energy Reiki at a distance,
Yep.
what kind of services will I be able to offer there? Like, what can I expect when I sign up?
Yeah, so we want to make it easier for people to have like online courses and programs that I know a lot of people are offering now. So basically one space where you could have that kind of something that you've created that is just always then there, or something that you're starting a 6-week live course, just say that you would be able to host that within the RE platform. Um, we'll be able to do groups and community so that you can have, groups of your followers and stuff all kind of centralized around whatever different healing things that you offer. And you could also have multiple things. So if it was like you specifically, maybe you focus on one type of trauma with some of your clients, but you also just want a community for people who are interested in energy work in general, you could have, different areas to kind of allow people to connect to one another as well as you and the work that you offer. But the biggest thing that we're hoping, to help set us apart and to help facilitators scale their business is that we're basing everything around a subscription model. So that you as a facilitator, because right now, time and energy is very limited. And there's only so many clients that you can work with in a day or in a week. And so with a subscription model, we're basically, just say you were a Reiki practitioner, for just as an example, $5 a month, you might offer like a daily universal kind of energy clearing, or energy session. So you could record a video that shows up on all of your subscribers' daily practice page. And you might have, 100 people subscribe to your daily energy practice, but you're only creating that one piece of content. So now you can have kind of that scalable revenue that isn't really possible for a lot of facilitators right now, where they're able to kind of reach more people, give people a taste of the work that they're doing. Let's just say you were a breathwork facilitator. You might do a daily, short breathwork video, or even just information about breathwork or what have you. And then as a user, you're getting those through your subscriptions, you're getting those small daily practices. And if you're really interested in a particular facilitator or a particular modality, you can just go to their profile and they've got all of their offerings, their sessions, their courses right there. And you can take a deeper dive with them within the RE platform.
I love this. I wanted to know more about the community aspect of it. about it being like a platform for people to connect and find like-minded people, because I think that really resonates with kind of what we're doing now. And I think our community would love something like this. Can you talk more about the how this would come together on a community connection?
For sure. Yeah. So one of the many other things that I and, all of us realized on this journey is that it's like you learn as much from the people who are the healers as you learn from the people who are at similar places on their path, right? Like
Hmm.
Paul and I, in that week that we spent in Costa Rica, part of the reason we became such close friends is because we were both just going through so much of the same stuff, and just, those moments of, oh my God, you get it, I get it, like being able to help each other's journey is so important. And so
Hmm.
with Ari, we want to create an environment where people can have that peer-to-peer connection, as well as that, professional to human, I guess, connection. And finding those like-minded people, and the people where, when you're like, as I'm sure all of you guys can attest to, when you have that first moment where you're like, I think I was visited by aliens in my dreams last night, and you're like, I don't know if I'm losing it or what, but like, I know that this is real. A lot of us in our like quote unquote normal lives, we don't have someone that we can kind of turn to and be like, I'm going through this, and have them just be like, yeah, like sometimes that happens, like it's
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
and so being able to find
It's so needed.
right, that whatever it is, to be like, here are your people, and to not feel so alone and lonely, just in general in life, but especially on a spiritual emotional journey. um it's just, there's so many people that feel alone on this planet right now, and
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
So what features are you offering on the site to like help build that community? Are there like message boards, chat rooms? What can people expect as a user versus a practitioner?
So as a user, they will be probably, we're still kind of honestly toying with what a good community looks like, because what we have found in a lot of the conversations we've had with facilitators is that there's much longer lists of what poor virtual community looks like, than people that are like, oh yeah, this is it.
Mhm.
So somewhere similar to maybe a Facebook group, where it's like you've kind of got that place where people can be posting and messaging, and kind of putting topics out there to discuss within, kind of like the umbrella of like, this group has a name, and so we know what this work is, what people in this group are interested in, what we're all here for. But one of the things that we're very open to right now is hearing from facilitators and users alike, of being like, what would make virtual community feel actually like community to you, because we want to do it right. We don't want it to just be a lot of websites like, like a Kajabi right now. Technically they offer community um as part of having, a Kajabi website. But what I've heard is that it's just kind of like, yeah, like people don't use it because it's basically, you just go on and you like post a thing, and it's just this, you're kind of just posting into the void.
Mhm.
And we want to make it a space where people feel very comfortable engaging. But there will be, yes, messaging, the ability to connect on larger group messages as well as individual messages, kind of a lot of the things that your standard social media offers at this point.
Right on. Another thing that pops into my mind is like the importance of community within the practitioners themselves. I think about times when I've been working with a therapist, and like how nice it would have been if they had known, some energy workers or something that they could just refer me to, you know? And so the idea of, working with a therapist on RE as a platform, and them saying, you seem like you're going through, some blockages. Why don't you just, go over to this other person who's also here on this platform, and take a look at what they offer? I think that'd be really cool too. Is that like something you're trying to encourage between your practitioners?
100%. So you actually just touched on two things that I'm really excited about. One being just the ability for facilitators to collaborate. That's another thing that we've heard a lot, is that people they want to be able to be working with other healers and offering services with them, or just kind of, seeing how what they do meshes really well with other healers offerings, and creating that community within the facilitator world, because a lot of people feel like they're
Hmm.
kind of doing this work, but they're doing it alone right now, or they don't really know how or where to connect with other people.
Right, or even
Hmm.
worse, they might feel like they're competition to other people.
Right.
You
And
know?
and so many people don't want to feel that way, but it's like when you have something like Instagram, where there's a very formulaic way that you have to kind of be presenting yourself and your content in order to, have the algorithm actually be maximum, like, a lot of people aren't able to really, or they think that they're not able to truly genuinely offer what they want to offer, because it will get lost in the void, and they have to kind of make themselves a little bit more accessible, instead of being able to kind of niche down and work in a way that they really and truly feel would best serve them and the people that they're helping. And with Ari, it's like, we want you to be able to do the work that you're supposed to be doing. You don't have to necessarily be like, oh, well, like, I'm offering this very broad thing because, it's the only way to make sure that people are finding me. It's like, no, like, there's a place for everyone, and everybody can kind of complement one another. And in that, to what you were saying about, a therapist being able to then recommend like energy work, we want to be able to, with our algorithm and with the way that Ari learns about each individual, also be suggesting different modalities and different healers. So as you kind of use Ari, as you engage with the platform, we'll also have kind of an intake process where, if a user feels comfortable, they are able to share a bit about their own journey, their mental health history. If they're not comfortable, that's okay. They don't have to share anything. But to be able to then learn about each individual, and not only be like, hey, something like Reiki might be really helpful for you, but also to be like, not only would Reiki be helpful, but you have this very specific type of childhood trauma, and you're going through a divorce right now, just say. And here's this Reiki practitioner who specializes in this childhood trauma as well as big life transitions, and being able to
Oh, wow.
make that connection so that people don't have to just kind of spend all of that time searching.
Wow, that's really, really, really cool.
Hmm.
I know all of this work is out there, and it's like, there's the right person, there's the right healer for each person. And right now, one of the major problems, right, is like, and yes, I completely believe in fate and synchronicity and the things appearing when they need to appear. And I also very much believe that with the power of technology and with the way that the world is heading, being able to help make those connections more easily, so that people don't have to go into the deepest, darkest places, if that's not, you know, it, to be able to help people sooner and quicker, to me, is a very good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything you want our community to know? Is there any way that our community can help you? Is there anything, any way that we can be of service to Ari?
Yeah, we are fundraising right now, which is very difficult in the current financial climate.
Hmm.
So putting the word out there that we're open to talking to investors, that we are just, we're also being very conscious about who we take money from.
Hmm.
We're talking about people's most sensitive, mental and spiritual health data, and we as a platform will never sell data. We will not, there will be no advertising. Like, this is a sacred space. And with that, seeking money from people who are looking to invest in anything, but it's very important to us to be very mindful and conscious of who we're having those conversations with. That
Sure.
said, we also can't. We're at a spot right now where it's like, we can't really progress unless we have investment, because we need capital to be able to build more of the platform. So putting the call out there of like, if anybody knows anybody that is an investor or an angel, or yeah, we're very, very open to those connections and conversations.
So I know this is in the early stages, and We've talked about being able to put you in touch with the people that want to support this program. How can someone get in touch with you that might be able to financially support the beginning stages of this program for you?
Yeah, so my email address is lindy@ari.co. That's Lindy at ARII.co. Um, an email would be great. We're also on Instagram at Ari Wellness, which, happy to receive messages there. But we are open to any kind of aligned investment. Anybody that has, people's true well-being and genuine growth at heart is somebody that we would like to work with. We're being very, very careful about, who we're taking money from. We know that this is a very sensitive, very important thing, and we just trust that the right people will present themselves.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be passionate about what you're doing, so I'm looking forward to finding those connections and seeing the growth of this program. It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. Well, do you have any like plugs other than Ari that you want to throw out here? Any personal like ways for people to get in contact with you, see what you're up to?
Um, People are more than welcome to find me on my personal Instagram, which is at like the hop, like period the period hop. I'm an artist.
You should follow Lindy because she posts the best like travel photos and like, oh my God, it's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. It makes me
The
smile
queen
every
of
day when I
travel,
see you posting
absolutely.
things.
Please,
Oh my God.
every day, every
Um,
day.
I live a very, very blessed life. But yeah, I travel a lot, so there's a lot of travel photos, a lot of art, writing, all that good stuff. But I'm happy to connect with anyone there as well.
Great. All right. Well, Lindy, thank you so much for joining us today. Colleen's going to be
Yes.
sticking around. We'll have a longer conversation with her, but um, yeah, I'm really excited to see where Ari goes. I know I'll be signing up when the opportunity comes. So
Thank you guys so, so much for doing the work that you do, for having us here. I'm so grateful. Like, it's always such a brilliant reminder i- that there is just so much good work happening on this planet. And I have been
Hmm.
yeah,
so exposed to it in my whole life, but especially in this last year, after alien school, just being like, wow, like I had no idea what this was. And yet I found myself surrounded by over 100 people who are all
Hmm.
on this journey.
hmm
Um,
Hmm.
Not even knowing that that's what I was walking into, and just continually being reminded that there are so many of us. We just need to find each other, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we are sending you all the love to Australia. Enjoy
Mm-hmm.
your travels and stay safe.
all right. Now we've got comedy all to
Hey.
ourselves.
Do you like it? Get it? Like the hop? Do you get
Ah,
I said that to Pete today. I'm like the hop. And he was like, I don't get it. I'm like, Lindy, like the hop. And he goes, oh, yeah. It's like, really? Like,
that was a really good Pete impression, I think.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah. No, Lindy's the best. I freaking love her so much.
so let's talk a little bit about the like process of you joining
Sure.
Ari and what you've done for them so far.
Yeah, so like I said, I met Lindy last year at an alien school field trip 2022, and we just connected. And it was like you said, like you just meet somebody where you feel like a soul connection to somebody, and we just hit it off immediately. Conversation just flowed, and we remained friends. And then I saw that she was like working on this project, and I was like, dang, like this is so cool. Like I felt at the time, it felt like so many of us were talking about the same types of things that we all wanted to like bring to the table. Like I feel like there's such a strong drive for that sense of community in finding the people that you resonate with, and um having like an easy way to connect with, like if you're struggling or you want help, or you just want to talk to somebody. Like there's such a need for that. So I was getting these messages all over the place, and it was like all the same. So I just reached out and said like, hey, like this seems to be a common theme. Like I just wanted to say like I love what you're doing, if you ever want to like collaborate or if you feel like you need help, like, just let me know. And she was like, I'll let, definitely, I'll let you know when the time's right. So they've just been slowly building everything for a long time now. And then at some point when they were bringing on facilitators, she's like, I could use your help to find more people. And I was like, all right, I'll, I don't have like a ton of free time, but I got some. So I'll help you out. So I'm just helping her find like other communities, like more people who are facilitators who are just trying to grow their practice or trying to get the word out. And, like she said, right now we're trying to just build it, just trying to like build the thing. So we're looking for people who hear like what Lindy has to say and like resonate with it and want to help. So like she
Hmm.
said, like we're building it. It's like the little baby version of the website, and we just need people who are like passionate about the mission and passionate about, offering their services to the world and want to connect with their clients and want to like spread what they're doing to others. Okay, so when I usually like when I talk to her like weekly, we just try to like hype each other up and like keep the energy flowing because like you can hear when she talks, like there's so much passion behind the project. And like I can speak to in my meetings with like the other founders and stuff, it's like everybody just feels so good about it. And it's like we just know that this is going to be something. And so we're looking for people who are on board with that and are just ready to like take the ride.
You had brought this project to us a couple of months ago,
Hmm.
and I just knew it was like, oh, this is great. What they're doing is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, how can we help? How can, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
how can we support this?
Yeah.
Because it's so needed.
Yeah.
It's so needed in
Right.
so many ways, and I love that we can that you can access it all in one space. It's not like
Yeah.
10 different websites. It's all coming from the same place, and um, and so many different kinds of reaches. Yeah.
Right. And Ari really listens to the facilitators. Like you can tell, like from what Lindy was saying, like they are building this thing based on the people that are actually going to be like using it. Like they want to know what has worked for you, what hasn't. Like, okay, we want to build community like within the website. Like, what does that look like? What has worked for you in the past? Like, what doesn't work? Like, they really, really listen to the people that are doing the work and like how can we best serve you, like how can we build this thing to best serve you and people like you. They're not just like assuming or like or make or like even like she said, like they're not making it to make money or to make to sell your data or just another cheap like website that like doesn't really do anything. Like they're really passionate about the mission, and they know if they bring the passion to the table and build it with integrity, that it's going to flourish and it's going to be profitable for everybody. They're not worried about, you know, um, just a quick turnaround.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
I can imagine that there's going to be people out there who maybe are not like practitioners,
Mm-hmm.
but are interested in trying to help in some way,
Sure.
and maybe aren't able to do that in a financial way.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I should have asked this when Lindy was still
It's
here, but
okay.
are there some positions, out there? Are you guys hiring for anything
I'm
or?
not sure what they're hiring for at the moment, but we are looking for people to just spread the word about it. So if it resonates with you and you're interested in it, share their Instagram post, talk about it, talk with your friends about it, talk with people who are also interested in this kind of thing, and share it. Like just say, hey, I got friends that are like doing this really cool project, like you should connect to them. And that's, you guys know what that's like we built a whole summer camp retreat based on word of mouth, and just say, hey, come to this thing, it's really cool. Like it can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I understand there's like a wait list for people that
Yeah,
are
yeah.
interested.
So
Is
we
that
have a
correct?
wait list of facilitators, people who are interested, they want to provide their services to the public, and are interested in the website. They can join like a facilitator wait list. So we have a new round of people popping up in the next like month or so, and you can go to ari.info for more on that.
Well, right on. Let's
Yeah.
let's talk more about you, Colleen.
Oh, great.
What
Okay.
what's your what's your spiritual origin story? Like, how long have you been into
Oh, I
this
don't
woo shit?
know.
You know?
I guess like the short answer, I guess, is just like
Yeah.
always. Like yeah, I don't really have like an aha, like awakening moment that I can like pinpoint. I feel like I've always been interested in, I remember being like a kid and always thinking about ghosts and thinking about like like the supernatural. I loved like the X-Files. I loved ghost stories. I always loved Halloween. Like I always felt like there was more out there without anybody like saying something to me about it. Sorry. And so yeah, I was just always really into it. Read, different stuff, read weird books, things like that. And then I don't know, I grew up Catholic, so I had like, some Catholic church funness, but it wasn't anything, too terrible. I always felt like I took away the message from the church, but it was like I felt like it was always just felt like it was bigger, like without anybody ever like explaining it to me. Um And then I met my husband in college, and he was similarly into the woo woo. And we just kind of grew together. We liked sort of the similar stuff. He was always just kind of like a little on the fringe, like weirdo too. And and we just like liked that about each other and like sort of just supported each other. And then we went to a like a psychic night, like a lady comes to the house and like pulls cards for you and gives you like a reading at like a friend's house. And we both like really hit it off with this woman. She was super cool, and she became like Pete's like mentor into his like spiritual practice. And like I really connected with her too. She was like a huge figure in our life for like many many years, like a decade. And she recently passed away, but she was just unbelievable and incredible. And through just like trying different things, and this is where like it kind of comes full circle, because it's like you don't know where to go. Like you have all of these, like I think like there's more out there, but I don't know where to like tap into that. So like having something like Ari, where you could be like, I'm having like these interesting thoughts, or I'd like to explore something, like to have a place to go where you could just like delve into that. And like especially remotely, like now we're so lucky because we can like just try anything. And at that time, so this is like maybe 2000 and, oh my god, I want to say like 2007, 8, like around there. Pete was like, I want to get an energy healing. And I was like, okay. And I got him like a gift certificate to this like guy that was doing that, he heard from a friend that does like energy healing. And he went to him, and he had this like profound experience, and that ended up being his like mediumship mentor. His name's Richard Scholler. He's out of Long Island here, and he's just another incredible human. So just met him. He really resonated with him. He was like, oh my god, this is wild. Like I really feel like I connect with this. And the ball just kept rolling, and I was just kind of like along for the ride, like yeah, like that, duh, that makes sense. And we connected with like this great group of people. Had all different kinds of experiences with different people. We did C5 meditation and
Mm.
past life regression, and that's where the whole mediumship thing and connecting to the other side started to unfold. And then we got married, and we had our first baby in 2015. And everything for me kind of, kind of like subsided, because I was in like mom mode, and I really didn't feel like I had the energy or the space to develop my anything at that time. So I've always just sort of been like in the background supporting him, and but also, totally invested in everything. And now I do a little bit of energy work on my own, and I definitely feel like the mediumship skills that I had learned from years ago just like stick around. And here and again, I'll like just pick up on stuff and either, do something with it or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's, I don't feel like that's like my calling, kind of like he does, but it's amazing to meet like the people that we've met from this and to find the community around it, because it's such a more interesting way to live. Like I love that we do this together and that we are able to like try different things together and experience like different things together, like instead of being like, oh, all right, we're going to go watch the football game this Sunday. We're like, oh, we're going to go,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to go try to talk to aliens or something, like that's our like
Yeah.
good
It's way
time.
more
I remember,
interesting.
oh my God, his mentor, Richard, would do a physical mediumship circle at his house on Sundays, every Sunday. And with physical mediumship, it's like you have to be consistent with it. And it's like you do a small group and it builds the energy. And it is more powerful if you're super consistent with it. So after we had our first baby, like he would go and then I would go too. And we would like leave the baby behind with his mom and she'd be like, where are you going? And I'm like, we're going to dinner. Like, we'll see you later. But it's like our idea of a good time is to go like sit in a closet with like six other people and like sing.
Hell yeah.
Well, first of all, just
It's
picturing
so
college
funny.
age Pete and Colleen just made me my
Oh
heart
my God.
Oh my
swoon.
goodness. Yes.
Absolutely swoon.
No, I will send you pictures. You're gonna be it's a lot. You're gonna die.
Please, Colleen, please.
Oh, oh my God. I guess you guys probably haven't seen anything old. Oh, it's
Oh,
so
I can't
bad.
wait.
Oh my God.
Uh,
My eyebrows are so small.
but working, like meeting all of you and all of our experience since we've all been in person, it has just been incredible. And Pete and Colleen have been essential to the bigger vision of finding land for community, finding a physical home for it. We've got our virtual spaces and we've got our meetups, but there's something more that we're really looking into and looking forward to. So, Pete and Colleen have been, just essential in keeping that vision alive, and it has, changed significantly since we just met again this last year. So I just know that we're bringing in the right people at the right times for these kinds of things. And Ari is another one of those places to meet and connect with other people and like-minded people to make these dreams come true. So thank you.
Yeah, you're so right. I know. I'm so happy to like, you just talk to everybody and like meet everybody and like see who resonates with who.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like the talking to everybody bit is so important. Like, don't discount anyone. Hear
Hmm.
everyone out. Like, you don't know what
Yeah.
nuggets of wisdom somebody's going to give you.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah. I remember when Pete and I were getting married, we had to go to the pre-Cana. Do you know what that is? Like in the Catholic Church?
Mm-mm.
No?
Do tell.
Oh my God, wait. He's It's so bad. Yeah, it's so bad. Like if you're getting married in the Catholic Church, oh my God, and you can just imagine how my husband took this. So you have to go and you can do like it's like 5 weeks or whatever of like nightly, like or once a week classes, like 2 hours. And like they go over all different topics and it's like the priest is kind of like educating you on like all different things about marriage and like your life together and whatnot, or you could do like an accelerated class, which is like an all day like Saturday thing. And he was just like, I don't care what this guy has to say about marriage, he's not even married, like this is insane. Like it was just so nuts. And my takeaway was always like, you never know like what you're going to learn from anybody. Like you may not think you resonate with this guy, but maybe he has like something interesting to say. I
Sure.
think his perspective has probably shifted over the years, but I think that's so true. Like even somebody that you're just like, I I don't even know what you're talking about, but like just to listen and sometimes it just proves more of what you really believe. And you go, "Oh, I listened to that and it really didn't resonate with me. I feel like I'm on my right path." Or you might listen and say, "Oh, I took away something that I maybe would have never thought." you have to challenge yourself. You have to challenge like your beliefs and like what you something that you feel so steadfast in. Anytime somebody can come in and challenge that, I feel like there's so much room for growth there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, when I think about you and Pete, the first like just because of like when I came into the community, the first thing I think about when I think about you two is homesteading. Like that is something you guys are like interested in doing,
Yeah,
right? Like how
definitely.
are you guys living that
Oh
now?
my
How are you
God.
hoping to live that in the future?
So we live in Long Island, like outside of New York City, but we have like a kind of significantly, well, we have like half an acre, which is like pretty big for our like sort of suburban area, and we have 20 chickens on our property. Don't tell the town. um, and we have, we have a cat. We've rescued a ferret. Like we have like sort of little animals that we kind of hang out with. Yeah, we have a big garden. Like we kind of we try to incorporate like whatever we can into this like vision of like let's live off the grid, let's live somewhere more remote. The idea is really like let's try to like live more simply. Like let's get back to basics and be really intentional with the way that we're living. Right now where we live, it's very fast paced. It's a lot, like it's expensive. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of like congestion and people, and it gets really like brain like noisy. So the idea behind like living off the grid, or starting a small community, or just really just like my vision is like let's all just like live in the same area and like help and support each other. Like I love that. I
Hmm.
love I love making friends and like building like my support system. I have a really nice support system here of friends and um people that I've connected to over the years, and it's so valuable. Like we all like lean on each other to help each other. Like there've been crisis and everybody just pulls together to help each other, and it's so beautiful. And to have that same feeling, but also be not have to grind like 24/7 just to like get by, that would be amazing.
I look forward to the day, my
I know,
friend.
it's coming, it's gonna
I
happen.
look so forward to the
It's
day.
gonna be so great. Yeah. No, it
Yeah.
is. It's there. Like the vision is there and like the intention is there.
Hmm.
But it's scary to make the real jump, to make the real
Hmm.
physical jump into it. So, yeah, we kind of just talk a lot about it now. We look for places, and I feel like just like
Hmm.
when we bought our home, like the right thing will come at the right time. And it's it's so true, like whatever is meant to be will be.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, and there's also us doing like
Hmm.
a sacrifice ritual on the equinox to bring it in. You know what I mean?
Right,
No,
exactly.
I mean there's a little ritual magic involved, but
Yeah.
it'll be, yeah, of course. It's just the intention. It's just,
But yeah, and I feel like anything like that, all that stuff kind of just heightens everything. Like you're putting out
yeah.
into the universe like what you want. Like I really believe in the power
Hmm.
of manifestation, and you know putting out there like really truly honestly like what you want. And it goes back to building
Hmm.
Ari too. Like they're really relying so heavily on the right people will come, like
Yeah,
the money will come, like the facilitators will come, like if you build it they will
exactly.
come, like that whole motto. And I view our lives in the same way. Like when it's time and when it's the right thing, like it'll be there. And us putting our intentions out and putting out like our energy into the universe just
Yes,
just heightens it.
absolutely. The people that need us will find us, and the people that we need, we will find. That's the intention, and we're just the vessel in the meantime. Can't wait.
All right. So I wanted to ask you about your experience at this year's Hot Alien Summer Camp. What'd you think? What'd you do? What was your favorite?
I thought it was great. It was so nice. This year felt a lot more I don't know. It wasn't, I didn't feel as nervous like coming because I felt like I knew what to expect and I knew, I knew people. Like it felt like coming home,
Hmm.
like where you're away from, from everybody and you're sort of like chatting with everybody all year. And then you finally get together. It's like, oh my God, yay.
Hmm.
And I felt like I could just like relax too because I like, kind of knew what to expect. And yeah, it felt to me, I know I was like part of like organizing it, but it felt really like it felt organized, like it felt like well run, and it felt like everybody sort of like knew what to do, and every from as a guest point of view, like people were super easy to like find, or if you had a question or problem or whatever, people were easy to like track down, like I love the freedom that we offer to the group where it's like, this is your experience and you're in charge of your experience. So you can just like participate or not, or, you can come here and just cry for a while and somebody will offer you a tissue or, or you can go tie dye a shirt over there. Like, like there's so much to do or not do. It's whatever you want to make it. And like nobody bats an eye. It's just it's I think it's a great experience. I loved oh my god, well, I love obviously I love watching my husband work. I love like that he has this opportunity to like offer something to like such a large group of people because we don't have that many people. Like he'll do like small groups here, but he doesn't usually get an opportunity to work with that many people, so it's super fun to like see him like in his element, like, and working with that much energy. We did a seance this year that was super cool.
Yeah, we
That
did.
was that was so
Shout out Freddie
fun.
Mercury.
Heck yeah, Freddie. um yeah, like that was really cool. So we had done that physical mediumship work for a long time, but it's a small group. You're in like a very small space. I've never done, and I've done like other seances before too, so this was cool. It was like similar energy where, and I felt our guides come in that work with us in that physical energy, or physical mediumship circle. So they were there, and it was just so powerful because it was such a large group of people with so much energy bringing to the table. That was so fun. I don't know what else did I loved it all. It was great.
It feels like a century ago. It was only a month ago, for God's sake.
That's crazy that it was a month
Isn't that
ago.
nuts? Yeah.
Wait, what? Oh my God, you're
Yeah.
right.
Isn't that
Oh my,
nuts?
that feels
Yeah,
like,
like we all got back home a month ago today.
wow. That's
Yeah.
wild.
So, what is
How?
your like integration process since camp been?
Oh, I
How's
had
the month since camp been for you?
I had a really rough like 2 weeks like coming back after camp. While we were gone, Pete's mother got into a car accident like while we were at camp. So I
Oh
feel
my
like I was
gosh.
like robbed a little bit of my experience at camp because I was like multitasking between like being present at camp and then also trying to like navigate stuff back home. Like we showed up to camp and we had just found out that she was in this accident and we were like, we might be like leaving today. Do you remember that, Tiffany?
Yeah.
We're like, we might actually have to go.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah, so it was super stressful. So I definitely feel like I wasn't as like present as I wanted to be this year. I tried, I really tried, but we have three small children and she was, supposed to be helping us with our kids. So she, thank God was like, okay. But, we kept getting told like, okay, well, she's still in the hospital, but they should be discharging her soon. Like everything's fine. Like, blah, blah, blah. So we were like, okay, well, she ended up being there for like 2 days in the hospital, like while we were gone. And it was just like, just complicated, like 3D life stuff that we had to navigate while we were away. So, um, but the energy shift is profound. And especially when you're spending so much time with people who are all of the same, you know, we're all here for like a good time. We're here for a good purpose. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just
Mm-hmm.
having like all of these like mind expanding conversations. Like you kind of come back and you're like punched in the head, like,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
it was a really rough 2 weeks. I felt like I was like just floating for a while in so much like love and like acceptance and just like the power of the community coming together just felt so intense. And then you're also trying to like navigate like your own life, and that was hard. Because you feel like kind of lost. You're like, I'm here, but I want to be there.
Yeah.
And
Right.
how do I bring that into my life? And, you know, then you kind of beat yourself up like, oh, I wish I could do that more freely. And it's like, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like I said before, like anything that challenges you is only for the good. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're feeling like strained or pulled in some direction, it's always like a chance to reflect and like go inward and feel like, okay, well, how
Yeah.
do I, heal this part of myself? So yeah.
What's what's a day in the life of Colleen
Oh my
look like,
God.
especially in regards to your spiritual practices? What does a day in the life of Colleen feel like these days?
Oh, well, I wake up at
Hmm.
5 a.m. every day and meditate for 2 hours. No, no.
I was believing you
Do
there for a
people
second
do?
too.
Yeah, right.
I was like, damn, Colleen.
Do people do that? I think people do that. I don't know. I'm not that person. Um, no, I get up. I try to like sit outside in the sun right away if I can. I get like a
Hmm.
nice cup of coffee and go out and kind of like let the sun hit my skin for a while, just to like pep up and, kind of connect and ground. I'm a Taurus, so I'm pretty grounded.
Whoop
I kind
whoop.
of, yeah, I kind of live like in the middle. Like my emotions don't really go too high or low. Like I kind of just sort of, so I always, and I feel like that's what I bring to the table is like this grounding element of like, when things are kind of like when especially for Pete, like when he's like up in his head and like high like intensity, like he's just sort of floating off into space, like I feel like I offer that to him, like some grounding.
Hmm.
So, I feel like that carries me through in every aspect of my life. So, get the kids ready for school, kids go off to school. I work. I work in adoption. I work in foster care adoption. So I either go to my office or I might have like visits with some of my kids, my clients that day. It's really interesting because it's like once you start like incorporating your spiritual practice into your life, like you're gonna find it everywhere. I find spiritual opportunities like popping up, like whether it's like a conversation with somebody at work, or if I'm like, I had a story a few weeks ago where I'm like working on a foster care case and I feel like the dead mother of one of my cases like coming to me with like guidance on like how to navigate the case, and I'm like, oh my god, this has never happened to me before ever. It was so crazy. Or even like when I am with my kids, like they're traumatized, they're in foster care, they've had a lot of really intense things happen to them, and I feel a lot of times I feel stuff with them, or things sort of like hanging on to them. So I'm a big believer in like consent, and like don't I don't like when people just start doing like energy work on you without your permission. So I
Oh
try
yeah,
to,
no.
yeah. So I try to just like sit with the energy, and I tell it can't be with me, and it might be a good idea to move on. Um, navigating those conversations with kids is a little tricky, especially if they're not my kids. So I do just try to like recognize the energy, and if the kids go there, and sometimes they do, sometimes they will talk to you about the wildest shit. I work with a lot of teenagers, and we have some deep conversations, and it gets crazy. So I try to like advise them the best I can within my parameters of my role. But yeah, it's like it just finds you like everywhere you go,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then I try to talk to you people at night and get my woo woo fix.
Yes.
Well, we need our Colleen fix, so this works out
Aw,
Yeah,
well.
please. Yeah,
love
it's
you
mutual.
guys.
Oh my God. Can we just do this forever now?
I
Hmm.
know. I think so.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
stuck.
The
Well,
more we get together and do the thing, the more it just makes sense. And
Hmm.
the more, like, I know integrating back in after, our meetups is tough, but like it just is like, well, it really could be like this all the time, and
Yeah.
I want to do work towards that. So
Yeah.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how, because it's like, you go away and it's like you are on vacation, it's like you are kind of, away from
Yeah.
reality for a couple of days. So it's interesting to see, because like, we worked all together for a long time now. So it's really cool. And the same thing with Ari. Like it's cool to like build like sort of like a business with people who are awake and who
Hmm.
are, their motivations are pure and um, they're tapped into, their
Yeah.
own spiritual stuff. Cause like, a lot of us have regular sort of 3D jobs or like whatever. So then when you get together with a group of people who's all like in that same
Yeah.
space, it's really cool to see how like business stuff functions.
I can't wait to see this project grow. I just know it's going to take
Yeah,
off, and like so many people are going to be
I
really into this. I'm
know.
excited.
I'm gonna tell Lindy soon. I think we need like a group meet up with all of like the RE people to like do some sort of journey or something to like get everybody like on the same page. And I think they'll be into it.
I think it's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
well, in the spirit of making connections,
Hmm.
Colleen, how can people reach you?
Oh my God. I'm not really reachable. I don't even know what my Instagram name is. I think it's it's Martocci, Martocci, Colleen at Martocci Colleen. I think that's something that Instagram just made for me like a long
Hmm.
time
Hmm.
ago. And yeah,
Right on. And
that's it.
you're at Colmind, what,
Yeah,
9980
call
in
my
Discord?
9980 on the Discord.
Right.
Yes.
Right on. Okay, and then let's go ahead and get all the plugs in for Ari as well. Where can people
Yeah.
find Ari? What's the social media stuff?
So it's ari.info. If you like, that's the site that's consistently up and running now. So the beta version of the site is getting tweaked. So the best place to go is ari.info, A
And
R
that's
I
A
I
R.
ARII.info. And then they are at Ari Wellness on Instagram, ARII Wellness, WELLNESS. And then there's a Twitter, or not Twitter, there's a TikTok in there too, but I just deleted TikTok today. Because I can't.
The constant battle. It's the constant battle with TikTok.
I can't. I'm like, this is consuming my life. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, we were talking to Melissa last week, and she was talking about the. I think it was her who was talking about the algorithm and how well it does
Oh
for
God, it is
curating good
like they
info.
are doing the devil's
Mm.
work over there at TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok. Oh. Well, who else in the community would you like to see on Interviewing Aliens?
Ooh, who else do I want to see? Oh my God, you put me on the spot here. Um, let me think. I'd like to see. Honestly, I'd really like to hear you interview Brittany because I think like the work
Yes.
she does is so interesting with psychedelics and like therapy. I think, and she's
Hmm.
and she's somebody that reached out to me right away, interested in RA too. So yeah, I think that's super super interesting. And
You read my mind.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, I think she would be a really fun guest. Let me think, who else? I think Pound Cake, our artist, would be also an interesting interview,
Yeah.
just for the lulz.
Yeah, we'll get Daniel in
Yes.
here eventually. He
We'll
knows
get
we're
him.
coming for him. He's
We're
preparing
coming
himself.
for you,
We're
Daniel.
coming for you, Daniel.
All right, and Britt, we're
Alrighty.
coming for you too. So
Yep.
prepare yourself.
Hmm.
Well, right on. This has been such a fun conversation. I'm
Thank
really
you.
excited to see where Ari
Me
goes, and
too.
I'm so excited to see where you and Lindy end up within it. Like, I think that you guys are doing great work, and
Thanks,
I'm
Jeff.
Hmm.
really
And
excited about things.
any way that we
Thanks.
can help out, don't hesitate to let
Oh,
us know. We'd be
you guys
happy
are
Yeah, absolutely.
to
you
we're
guys are
pushing it.
number one on the speed dial. I guarantee it. Thank
And keep our
you.
community involved too. Keep those
Absolutely.
posts coming whenever
Yeah,
there's new updates. People want to
absolutely.
know.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having us too. This has been great. You guys are awesome. I love you, my friends.
Love
Yeah, love you
you.
too.
Bye.
All right. Well, we will catch you all for the next episode of Interviewing Aliens. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.